I don't need moderator. Okay, in Jim Miller's garden, on a cloudy, little humid day, and I guess here we go. Look at the garden today. I'll switch it around. Okay, first here is in my newest raised garden bed. First thing here is I planted some rhubarb. I hope it lives more than 2 years because I've had trouble with rhubarb on the surface ground. So this is higher up. It may drain better. They say clay is a problem, so there's not much clay here. So wish me luck on that. And they're looking good. You see newer leaves down. They keep throwing up new leaves, so that's good. I don't know where to go. What's okay? Next is some volunteer tomatoes. I think I brought most of these from another raised bed, as I recall, and they're starting to bloom. There might, I don't see any tomatoes yet, but it was only a few weeks ago. In this middle spot, I'm going to put some sweet corn. The target day is June 1st to put in. I'll put in 6 hills of 5 seeds and try to get a good 25 stalks growing. And it's a little weedy, but I may weed it here in a few days and get ready to plant. And here is these are volunteer squash or pumpkin. They're looking real nice. And I'll just grow these and they might get jack-o'-lanterns. The neighbor has chickens and she may get some of them. So, and you can see these big logs I cut up. I think they're a good 20 inches across, near 20 inches. And I did it with a 12-inch saw. It wasn't all that easy to get those cut up. So, all right, the new raised bed. All right, next. Got one thumbs up and one viewing, 9 viewing. Well, stay. Everybody that's watching, stay. This is interesting. If you like gardening and need some tips, just stay and watch. Here is well, these tomatoes are amazing in this raised bed with the almost entirely organic. Well, it's nutrient rich soil, hardly any dirt or any like regular soil in it. Where's that big one again? And there's a big one down here, a big tomato. And oh, I see a chat. I'll just go by the last three numbers. 2116 says hi, hello. It'll stay a while. And I'll get up. I'll do it this way. Yeah, I'll get up in here in the bed and look around. Ooh, there's some poison ivy down there. Poison ivy. I got a little bit this year doing the neighbor's yard, but not a lot to make it serious. Okay. And look, these tomatoes are like chest high, and this real bright green says they're really growing fast. So, and I think that first tomato I looked at, hopefully it's an early girl or something like that, because I planted some early girl in the planters and then I lost track of the label. The labeling faded out. So I just put them in the ground and they'll reveal themselves. And over here, these other tomatoes, these look like Romas. And when I started seeing the shape of them, I said, "Oh, good! I forgot I planted Romas." Yeah, and I planted Romas like good 5, 6 years ago, and used them. So I used the same batch of seed and got Romas again. Anything will work in chili. Okay, one viewer. Everybody skedaddled. Next is I'll do it this way. the potatoes, if I can get down here and look, in this next raised bed, and they look like they've topped out and they're done growing in height. They bloomed out, which means that they're putting tubers in the ground. And I see down here there's one that's dying. I think I'm going to come in here today and dig it up because last year I had one do something similar in one of these raised beds, and some of the potatoes were rotten. So there may be a few potatoes there to harvest. And we're doing hot pot today, so maybe we'll use new taters and hot pot, so it may work itself out. So next here is white onions, and like I've been saying, the upper part of these onions look rather normal. They're got they're pretty large tops on them, but these down here are a little bit. They're actually kind of catching up, so they're getting respectable now. And I may have some decent sized onions there. I can see some of these down here. That one down there's got really fast new growth, so it's growing fast. So got another month, about maybe a little over a month before they start flopping over and they're ripe and quit growing. I watched this guy's video about the bulbing of the onion, and it's all about daylight hours and things like that. And he was growing three different like plantings of onions, and he was sound like he's being successful. I just do one planting in the spring, and if you keep them in the fridge, they'll last all winter. And hopefully, the onions this year are going to last until next year's when I start harvesting. So next here is watermelons. I got them snuck in right along the edge of the potatoes. Once the potatoes are dug, which is, oh, I say 2, 3 weeks approximately, these watermelons I can throw them back into the bed. Next here is pumpkins. I think I saw, well, there's a blossom here. Here's a female blossom. Now, when that blooms, I need to be I need to be around if I wanted to pollinate it. So I think that's this one here. Oh, okay. Wow, that's weird. This pumpkin here is a different one. It's got it's on its flower. There's a yellow uh we call it fruit, and it's doing it real early. It says, "I'm going to make a pumpkin now," and this is supposed to be a giant pumpkin. Okay, let her rip. And I planted, just getting rid of seed. I planted the giant pumpkin and standard jack o' lantern pumpkins. Okay, this one bloomed like yesterday. I didn't see it, and hope it fertilized. It was rainy yesterday, so it may or may not. I'll have a pumpkin laying here in the raised bed. That'd be awesome. So that's good. Okay, this raised bed, all these are done, and the pumpkins they're climbing out here on the neighbor's lawn, and I'll try to keep them thrown into the bed when the potatoes are dug. And these potatoes here, I'm gonna look. This is that big one. I'll look underneath. I don't see any. There's potatoes in there for sure. I don't see any like bulging of the ground. You kind of, yeah. On this one, you kind of see right here and there, and there's bulging. So they're pushing up. And I think this first row are Kennebecks, and the back row are red potatoes. And they look good except for that single one. And I'm gonna dig it up as soon as I get done with this video. 2 viewers, and there's a lot of highs. There's There's Solar Brawl YT, YouTube probably, and it says the hi. Ooh, vanilla of the truth. It looks tasty. Now, wonder what was tasty. Everything in my garden's tasty. Okay, and well, these onions are the ones in this where they're short. They're s- they're getting respectable now, so I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna go to the main garden, and we need some chats, and we need people to subscribe. And I got a shortcut now going to the other garden. I undone this fence. I took the bolts out and laid the fence down because week I go to the creek with a 5 gallon pail and I would throw it out with a drag line, and I would probably pull up a good 2, 3 gallons of water each time. Fill 2 watering cans, 2 gallons each, and I walk up, go through here, and I go up and water I would water in that raised bed too, but I was trying to figure out how can I water and be not much walking, and it's not that bad. Look, you got a creek, and you fill your watering cans, you come up here and water. I don't think it's even 100 feet, and the distance from, my cot water is similar if I was gonna take it over on that end, opposite end. So it's similar to just using, gutter water in the distance walking. It's worked rather well. You know, it takes a couple hours each morning to cover your garden, which you needed to, water. So, okay, what I'm gonna do next, I'll do it this way. Next here, and Chris Chrisingo says, "Hi, nice. Well, like and subscribe." I'm getting some viewers, getting some feedback. And next here is purple sweet potatoes. Now, Nana liked these, and I planted them for her again, but she passed away 10 days ago. So it's in my title that it shows how long she lived, and, we miss her. But the neighbor I gave her some from last year, and she liked them. So the neighbor may get these, or animals. So uh, purple sweet potatoes. They're a bit slow going this year. I think it was too cold and then too dry and then like too hot and too much. But I can see that there's lighter green there, so they're starting to grow at a pace. But I looked at pictures from last year, and they already were like the plants were mingling together, the hills. So they're behind in size from last year for whatever reason. It could be sunlight too. There's a little less sunlight on this end. Next is was my fourth planting of corn, and it came up pretty good. I got enough population so I didn't have to reseed, and I got this screen down to keep the squirrels from digging around, and they've been digging around lately. So I'll try. I need to pull these up here, maybe in the next day or two, because they're starting to get size, and the leaves will catch when I pull them up, and it may rip them a little. So I might even do this today. And then I think I'll put the screen somehow around them to keep the squirrels, still keep them out. Like this one here. This one here, I think one of these, see that corn stalk down there is kind of bent up. I think it was under something, and I pulled it up and I got them in here. But I don't know if I'm going to use a pyramid shape and push it, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't think I have enough to encircle all this corn with the screen. So, good population. Um, and this, I expect this to be 8 foot tall here in about a couple months. So get out of the way. It's going to be big. And I hope I don't have to water it a lot. And next is bell peppers. And this one here, this is about ready to pick. It's big. And the plant, well, I'm just going to make a pepper, and the plant is not overly large. It's amazing that just a little bit of foliage created that pepper. Just a little. So that's fine. We'll have a pepper. And I picked that, and there'll be more coming on. So it's putting all of its energy into that one pepper. And this one here's got two smaller ones. This one's got another two small. Those are a little bigger than that last one. This one here is just starting to put on peppers. So I think I got these at UGO, United Grocery Outlet, for cheap. They will have a 4 pack for $3. So that's good. Next, well, here's some, I think this is bok choy that didn't work, and it's just going to seed. And I've been clipping the leaves to put in hot pot. It works okay. Next is cabbage, and let's see, that has a that has a tendency to look, that looks like a Jersey Wakefield a little bit. So maybe these are jerseys. There's a little one there. So there's 4 cabbages. I got cabbages all over. And for watching, well, 2 thumbs up. That's good. Like and subscribe. Next is broccoli. I all the original heads, the single spear of. I'll go up here where they look pretty. What do we need to do? Well, those can grow a little bit more. The single spear, I already cut them. So I cut them. There was no broccoli, and then they shoot out from the side, and I got a whole bunch of broccoli again. And most of the broccoli I've already cut in the fridge. I'm gonna have to go through them today. I'm gonna have to freeze a lot of it, and we're having hot pot today. So my wife is gonna have some broccoli. So I'll pick out some good clumps for her to eat. Next here is white onions. They're looking really good. Okay, that one here, that one has a real thick stem. I don't know what they call them on onions, stalk or whatever. And that's going to have a real big onion, I think. And most of these are looking really good. These at the top are a bit shorter for whatever reason. They get more water than about anything in the garden because it's concrete. It rains. When it rains, it runs off and floods it. But they're looking good. Got them weeded real nice. Got them mulched. There's a few there's a few of these perennial weeds, and this tree keeps coming up. That's a pecan. Maybe it is. No, it's a black walnut. But the squirrels bring those. I don't know where the black walnuts are, but the squirrels bring them in and they bury them. So they're nature's planter. They plant the trees around. They get the benefit of eating, but they also forget where they planted, and the tree grows. Okay, that's like I call it the narrow bed or whatever. And I'll look at this is a good. This is the beans, climbing beans from the opposite side of the row, and they're looking good. What to do? I made my, I made some beans. I would take beans, cook them for half an hour, and then throw potatoes in there for, like, 15 minutes and cook them, and then I would throw them, drain them. I would add cooked bacon, and I would add and caramelized onions and butter, and that's it, salt and pepper, and that batch I just made the other day is really good. My wife doesn't like my cooking much, but she liked them, so that was great, and she said Nana would be proud of me, how they tasted, so I thought they're really good. I've cooked the beans longer than normal, so maybe that's what I gotta do. Next is some younger, cauliflower, not cauliflower, broccoli. I don't see any heads yet or little buds, so they're taking their time. Good, that's fine. And here's more of that bok choy. I need to I need to pull it. I need to just pull it up or trim it down and try to get more leaves. So, okay. And here is a cabbage from last year that was planted, and it's making these little. Hopefully, they're making these little heads, so I have little cabbages later. And there's four volunteer tomatoes. They're blooming. Got the cages up. Don't see any setting yet. They're looking a lot better than a few days ago. It was hot and dry, and been watering them, and they're perked up since we had what it was over 2 days. We had was it 130 inch and 3700. So a good rain. I want zero viewers. I must not be exciting. Maybe we'll get some more. Next is some more white onions, and I might pull this today. What the squirrels. The squirrels been digging around. They haven't been digging the onions up. How you look? Is there just two? There's two, and there's weeds. Yeah, this is a sweet onion from last year that I didn't see, and it started growing late last summer, and I left it over winter. It lived through the winter, and I just planted my white onion row right through it, so this looks like an onion row, and I can probably pull that any time, because I don't know if it's done or not because of these are seed stalks. They had seed pods, and pulled the I pulled the seeds or the flowers off, and probably just pull the onion. I don't know if it's growing more or not. Next here is a row of Georgia sweet onions, and they're like a lot of the things this year. They're small at one end, and they're actually got ripe too. A lot of them, when they flop, they're ripe and they need to be pulled. So they're small down here, the tops, and up here, you get up here and you got big onions poking out of the ground. And there's a very large one there, and there's several good large ones there. So half the row are decent size, and the rest aren't. Here is red sweet onions. That one's pretty good sized, and they haven't flopped over at the top. So top of the row. And a lot of these are flopping over, and they're telling me they're ripe. They're ready to dig. So I'm just gonna have to gauge when to do it. What's this one look like? Oh, it ain't too bad. That's one of the smaller ones. It's an okay size. For the top, the size of the top tells me it's not very big, but it's okay sized. So got done with the sweet onions. Next is my first planting of potatoes. they turn a little yellowish. That means that they're about time to dig them, and they're not very tall in height, but I hope they make up for it with potato size. These up here are a little bit bigger. Oh, there's another weed. So I'm gonna be digging. What's this? May? I think it's the 23rd. And last year I dug some potatoes, and it was early June, and that was early. So I'm gonna probably be. We got a really rainy forecast. So for the this coming week. So when the rain may quit next weekend, I might start digging some potatoes. Depends on what the vines look like, but they're getting close. And here is a row of tomatillos. And where is a fruit? There's a bunch of them down here. How big are you? Oh, if I get the camera on it, there's a bunch of tomatillos here. They have a curtain. I don't know what they call it. A lantern. I'll call it a lantern top. They look like Chinese lanterns, and they keep the fruit from getting bugs and mold and whatnot. They're kind of a protector, and they're pretty cool. Now these came in. Uh, was it? I'll call it 3 years ago because I've had them 3 years. There was a plant with yellow flowers, and I Googled it and I said, "Oh, that's a tomatillo." Well, it's a tomatillo, and then I just let it grow, and I liked it in chili and stuff. So they're gonna be tomatillos before tomatoes are ripe. So I'm gonna have to hold the tomatillos or figure something out how to use them when the tomatoes. They may be about the same time. We'll just see. Next couple videos, I'll uh, just talk about it more. Here is a volunteer tomato that came up in the row. There's tomatoes on it, so that's good. And these tomato, they're looking good. And I put this little, I did this last year with them. I put strings, and I'll weave the plants in and out of the strings and keep them from off the ground. Keep them up where well, there's 5 viewing. That's good. Need some more chats. Like and subscribe. Jim Miller's Garden, and it's humid out. Next is my second planting of corn. And like a lot of things, one end is shorter. I'm gonna, did I? I'll do it. Okay. I don't know what resolution. 3 watching, 2 thumbs up. And like a lot of things in the garden this year, one end is shorter than the other. And I think this is the cause of this one here is probably a sunlight issue. The afternoon sun doesn't hit these until about 1, 2 p.m. But we're starting to get a sun angle, which will hit this shortly afternoon. So these on the end here look fine. They're just a little shorter. And this is a squirrel graveyard. I just put in a squirrel yesterday. Make those short corn taller. That's what I do. Squirrels are trouble. Okay, this here, this tall. Gosh, how tall are you? It's probably 7.5 foot, 7.5 foot tall. It's got two silks coming out, so I might get 2 ears on that stalk. And all these are at least 6 foot up here. They're really tall, and that's the only one I see silks on. But I see really good. This corn's in really good shape. I'm gonna walk through here and hopefully don't break any leaves. gonna show you this. This stalk here is oh, I flipped it around. Well, that was a mess. I hope you didn't see anything unusual. I bumped something and flipped the camera. And okay, I'm gonna show you this, everyone. This stalk here is really sturdy. So I'm getting enough sunlight and nutrients, and it's looked like a proper corn stalk. So wind and heavy rains are not going to really knock that over as easily, and we may get some of that the next few days. we gotta we've already had some good rains, but I can take another 2 or 3 inches, get this ground soaked up more because it's been going on fumes basically. Next is what is oh, this is my third planting of potatoes, and they're bigger than the first planting. They're good size. Looking, oh, there's a tree. Oh, yep, black walnut with squirrels. Go plant them someone else's garden. There you go. They might come back and eat the nut. I'd rather not have them do that, but okay. Oh, look at this one. That one's pushing up nice. You could. There's a potato. Oh, there's several potatoes poking. I gotta get some. I gotta go around these and look for because they'll get green, and if they get green uh, skin on them, they're potentially poisonous. So I got to watch for that. If you got a green skin, you just kind of peel off that skin and use the rest of the potato. It's no big deal, but I'd rather have them not exposed. So those are looking good, and like the other things, one end of the row is shorter, probably sunlight. This one down here looks pretty good for where it is. Next is more cabbage, and on this end of the row, they're short, small. I need to. Oh, this looks like a Wakefield. So we might have some Wakefield, Jersey Wakefields in this group. This one looks more like a flat Dutch. So good. I like the Jersey Wakefields. They're a nice little pointed. Now this cabbage here is. What are you doing? Okay, don't bolt on me. It was slow because the bugs ate on it and held it back a little, and it's looking good, but it's kind of questionable if it's going to make a cabbage or not. But these look good. I got Jersey Wakefields. Next is another. They might be tomatoes on these. Finally, yeah, there's a tomato on this one. This is another group of tomatoes I planted indoors early in late winter, and I was running out of room, so I planted them in a tight row, and I'm putting these whatever I can find. This is like uh, cable. What do you call it? Cable TV cable or something like that, or phone cable. And it was thrown. It was thrown on a pile of brush, and okay, I can use that. And this is some strapping from the neighbors. I don't know this what it was for. It was laying on the ground for a year and discarded, so I used it too. Yeah, I'm happy with it. And these 2 tomatoes were laying flat the other day, so I decided to, uh, get them propped up, and this works rather well. I'm gonna probably add some more, uh, wire or something. I got some, what's the phone cable? No, it's the phone jack cable. I got a pack of it left. I might use that. And after that, I might have to start using, buying some string or something, some rope. So I try not to buy much. Well, there's a tomato one. Okay, this one's got a little, just a little. Oh, there's another tomato. So they're blooming good. They're looking good. Rain helps. Rain is better than hand or water. Getting some more weeds. These there's a couple peppers there. Um, that one had a struggle with bugs. They made it through so far. And here's the bigger one that the bugs didn't mess with. Well, I see a bug on you. And I don't see any buds on these. These were planted in the house and looks like most, maybe the entire group possibly could be bell peppers, which is fine. I did use some old serrano seed. These down here could be serranos, which is fine. They're a medium hot pepper. Possibly those could be serranos. This could be serrano. Those look like bells. Most they'll will reveal themselves. I'm very sure these are bells because the stem is thick. And I looked at old pictures of serranos. My serrano, that should be a song. And I did bring the umbrella down. So I'm going up to the front of the garden. And okay, here is a volunteer tomato because one of the peppers died. I think that was the only transplant I had the entire spring. I had a good 70, 80 transplants of peppers, tomatoes, and cabbage. And I think one died. Now, a lot of these cabbages came from planters. I had some of these planters would have a dozen cabbage in it, but if you separate the roots and get them in the ground and water them a lot, like twice a day after they're put in, they'll survive. And you get cabbages, like lots of cabbage. It's spring. It's starting to rain. I'm gonna have to find that umbrella. I'm gonna go up to the top. Raining lightly. They got 2 viewers. Now, last time I made a video, I was kinda disappointed in the number of views, but once it's, published and posted, people, were watching it a little bit, so it kinda rounded out, and I got, maybe towards 30 views after it was, uh, vi after I made the video and put it up. Okay, here is my, catch water, and these lower ones got quite a bit of water. Something over here is leaking, and I don't know if it's this big barrel, which has a lot of holes in it anyway, or this black garbage can, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. It's getting rainy. I need some more thumbs up. And go find that umbrella. I'm glad I brought it down. Now I can't pick peas. Where'd I put that? Okay, it's here. Gonna do it one-handed? Yeah. There we go. You can hear it rain with one viewer. Okay, let's just start. I haven't shown these pineapples this year much. And this one's got a fruit on it and it's starting to get a top on it. It's going to be very tiny. It seems like each generation they get smaller, so they're getting to a point where it's hardly worth doing unless you get a new top from the store. And that's the newest top. That's the newest. This pineapple here is. the one I put in the soil last fall after this one had a, fruit on it, so it's the top of the fruit. You put the top foliage in the ground and it germinates, and I'm waiting for this one here to grow a like a pop, another little, start of a pineapple, but it hasn't yet, and, this one here with the fruit is actually the oldest pineapple of the group. It was one that had a, fruit, and then I cut it off, and then it had a pop, a little sprout, and it's putting out a pineapple. So they're a happy little family. They kind of look like they've been through a lot. Like it's been hot, cold, just and they don't look top notch right now. So we'll see how they work. I wonder if I could check the radar. I don't know. I'll just wait. Just take what comes. Okay, here is my third plant of corn. It's a small row, and other than I think I got three in each hill except this one, and I put three seeds in to fill it out, and I got three corn stalks. So they're knee high. They're looking good, and it's an experiment. It's the first time I put corn here at the end of the driveway, and it gets a lot of water when it does rain. And I usually put tomatoes or pumpkins or squash here, and this year I'm trying corn. It's going to have a little bit of a challenge pollinating because it's a single row, and I'll probably have to hand pollinate some. And one viewer. Okay. Next is this one looks really like a dedicated, like a pumpkin. So last year I had uh pumpkin seed and I planted and I got a good, I think it was like five pumpkins out of it. And I'm gonna take this umbrella and I don't know if it's pollinated or not, but there's a pumpkin started. I didn't see that one bloom. I didn't hand pollinate it, but it's there and that's good. It may take and we'll have a pumpkin going here real early. And here's another group of that same stuff. It's those are male blossoms. And I guess I'm gonna leave, well, I have to now. I'm gonna have to leave this cage on it. It's from the neighbors. It's stuff that's kind of discarded. And I'll just let it holds it up in the air where it can get, this is really the poorest sunlight in the garden right now. You got this neighbor put a shed in, and I told her I wanted it further up, but you put it here. That's fine. I've we've compensated when we opened up the sun over there last. I did some of it, and then the ANS towing, they cut down some. Had someone cut down trees. So, oh, these are looking better. They cut down trees, a bunch of them, and I got a good, a lot of it's 3 hours of straight sunlight. What is going on there? I'm gonna walk down here by the creek. It's like a tree fell over. It's gonna, hmm. Like I said, I wasn't gonna walk around the creek, but this, all right, just a, where'd that come from? Oh, I think it's the top. That's a dead tree. Yeah, it may be that top right there. Well, yeah, the other day I heard woodpeckers. The woodpeckers were, digging in it, and It got weak and yeah, that's what kind of I think that's a thorn. Yeah, I could have been walking around and got bonked, but I didn't. So yeah, the rest of that tree is gonna go within a year or 2. It's been dead for a while, and it's standing in water. One watching. There's a robin. Get worms? Okay, and here's this other, last, pumpkin squash. It looking a little more like, geez, what was it? This leaf shape. I don't think it would be, acorn squash. Uh, um, I kinda want, butternut squash 'cause, I've been making butternut, squash for pumpkin pie, and I throw the seeds in the last year, I would throw them over the railing and pile up the compost on the ground, and it stinks, and I throw it in the garden, and then it sprouts, volunteer stuff. Okay, next is, my first tomatoes I put out March 1st, and those are getting good size, and I think these are, beefsteaks. I'm gonna put down this umbrella because it quit raining. I jinxed it. I put these out March 1st, and I had to cover them a time or 2. I would take a planter cup and put over the top of the tomato, which is kinda a little small, and then I really pile these on it, and it survived some good mid-20-degree mornings, and here we go. We got good tomatoes here at the end of May. And this right here next to the building, they're a little bit later, but they got good tomatoes on them too. All of them got tomatoes on now. So I can plant tomatoes here every year or, every when I need to. I've been planting corn here a lot. I like to rotate uh, plants. And as an experiment, I tried tomatoes here right next to the building. And since we got better sunlight, they're doing good. They're these here are slightly behind in the middle, but they're doing quite well. Okay, next is I think this is my second planting of potatoes. There are very huge plants for the most part, and it's kind of odd that they are large because they didn't get as much sunlight. But I guess when we had poor sunlight, the potatoes did grow tall. They would grow like chest high, and then they wouldn't have many potatoes. But these are kind of a happy medium where they're pretty good size. They have a lot of foliage. A lot of foliage means they may be a lot of big sized potatoes. I'm hoping. And let me kind of look. These were exposing themselves. You don't see me there. I've been covering some of them up because of they. I think the chickens got out. I think the chickens got out. The neighbor's chickens. Now the chickens are gone. She took them back to her farm. But I think they were over here, and I was over here looking around, and there was a potato under one around these tomato plants, and said, "Well, that had to be like a chicken or something kicking around." And I took it in the house, so I have a potato. This one's actually still growing a little. So these might be about the last I dig, even though they're like the second of 4 groups planted. Okay, here, struggling for life is this is a butternut Oh, I thought I saw there's no blossoms. A butter nut squash, which I like make pumpkin pie out of, and these potatoes and this corn are going to be gone in maybe 3 weeks, and then it'll have this whole area to itself. So they're here and they're fine. This one here looks really good. It's going to go out the back door and get good sun here. And I got to find my way up to the other vine plants, see how they're doing. No viewers. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Zucchini, lots of male blossoms. I think they're waiting for me to. They're waiting for me to cut the corn down. I guess they're fine. They should have a little bit more darker leaves than that, so they're kind of compromised for sunlight. But they're growing. They're growing. They're going to grow like a bush and come up, and eventually there'll be a female blossom, and then we'll start having zucchini. And next is this is an Asian squash. Nana got one for hot pot, and I took the seeds. I grew a few last year. They were little, but this year, by the size of these plants, they're really the plants are healthy. They're going to probably have the normal size squash, like it's kind of like a let's say it's kind of a volleyball sized. It could be that size if I get this corn and potatoes out of the way. So those plants really look good, and they're kind of crowding out the zucchini a little bit. And this corn here is a little shorter, and it's kind of encroaching a little too. Okay, next here is cantaloupes. This is probably yeah, this is that old seed. This is like the 9-year-old seed that still grows. Just throw it in the ground, throw a good 15 seeds, and you get 7, 8 plants. They're looking good. They'll need room here shortly. See, this one's growing into the potatoes. I could get this one to grow. I can guide it out onto the concrete too and get hit better light. So it's a crowded little mess, but it's part of the plan. Once the corn and potatoes are gone, these vine plants can have this whole area. And look at all this corn. I wonder if we got pollen. Oh God, a lot of it too. I, li- I like to hand pollinate to, oh, this is kind of perfect because there's no wind. It goes straight down lots of, there is a good half dozen, that's a golden bantam. I think it's been pollinated, it's starting to die back. So I'm going to guess, don't you have oh, this one's got pollen, but the, oh, just barely silken. So tomorrow, look at got lots of pollen. This one's been pollinated. It's a golden bantam. It's an early corn, and it's had a weird, like last time in my video, I noticed these streaking in the on the corn plant, and it hadn't gotten any worse. It kind of made it see. It's got good 80, 90% of its foliage, and there's already an ear getting some size to it. So it's going to be. Oh, what is that? There's a like a real rain coming. We'll see. I don't know if it's coming from that direction or not. I felt kind of a gust of wind that said, "Hmm." It made me look over like old instinct. And That looks like a rain's coming. We're gonna have a rain video. Get this corn pollinated before it rains. See the wind starting to take it. I'll just put some pollen. Most of these are up here at the front. Okay, here's this one. They're the pollen is coming out on most of this at the right time of the silks. I had trouble other years because of sunlight. There's some silk here. I'm probably doing more harm than good. You can see the squash crawling through the corn. Yes, that's rain. I'm gonna have to go over and get the umbrella. It's it's getting dark. I'm gonna time it right. I think this is about the last one. This looks like a different corn. Oh, that one's mostly pollinated. And I've been when I mess with some of these tassels this year, they break. They're tender. Oh, I'm gonna need to spray the bugs here too. I see your earworm. I don't see any more silks. I'm done with that. I'm gonna go over here and yeah. Oh, I'm gonna flip this up and look at the radar. I don't see any numbers. Okay, I don't know what it'll look like on replay, but we're still. I think we're live, but no viewers, of course. But I'm gonna grab this umbrella. I'm ready. I'm gonna get this in, and it may be a. Oh, as soon as I put the umbrella up, I can hear rain on it. And here's my new hose. First hose I bought probably in, gosh, could be 30 years or so. Who knows? And here's a lettuce, a volunteer lettuce that's bolting. I probably I probably can get a few leaves off of, but they're gonna be a little bitter. But I don't know what to do. Save the seed again? I got lots of lettuce seed. And here's some more lettuce. I gotta cut it. Oh, next is let me look at these. I'm gonna look at these really good looking sweet onions. Now this is what I wanted to happen when I started growing them. They look like the sweet onions you get in the store, especially with that big one there. They're gonna really have a lot of onions, a lot of onions for a hot pot, and I already picked 4 of them. I'm gonna let it rain. Yeah, I already picked 4 of them, and I used, a couple of the onions in the potatoes and green, uh, meal. Next is, carrots, and I dug around them yesterday a little bit, and there's some pretty good sized carrots already, and I don't see them bolting at all, which is good too. Okay, next. Alright, I love it. Always love rain. Next is cabbage and a good 25 plants, and, let's see, I'm gonna look at this one here. This one got, wormy on me, and I've been putting stuff on it, some Captain Jack's, dead bug brew, and I hope it holds it back, so lots of cabbage. I'll walk down to the good big ones. I wonder if these all kinda look like, um, they all look like flat Dutch. like there. That one is I mean, I could cut that and use it, but I got other ones in the fridge. Nothing like a rain video. Okay, next here is my volunteer pile. Um, I've taken all the volunteer squash out of this and put them around where which I've already looked at. And here are some tomatoes. There's actually tomatoes on one of these plants. And here's a volunteer potato. Now, this potato may have been from last year, and I saw it growing, but I didn't dig. I forgot it was there, and I didn't dig it after the frost. Lost track of it. And I think it's the same one. It's got a good size to it. There might be some good potatoes when it does ripen. And let's see, the challenge here is digging the potatoes out and not hurting the tomato plants. So that's going to be a challenge. Probably have to take a small tool and work around the soil. And here, I'm not going down there quite. Uh, what I call my weed tomato, and it's a tomato that was it showed up in one of the planters inside the house, and then it actually was a volunteer seed that somehow got in the soil, and it's got a bunch of these little tomatoes on it, and they'd be like cherry tomato. Hey, keep raining. It backed off a little. I want it rain hard. I want it to rain hard. Okay. The one tomato, see, there's some, I'll just try to get to it. That one's got good. That tomato there is the one that was in the house all winter. It hijacked the flower planter. The flower died. It wasn't a flower. It was kind of a purple ornamental plant. It was a pretty plant, but it eventually died. And the tomato, I brought it out in March. I think no, yeah, it was late March. It was after the freeze. It was after the freeze worries were over with, and it's got a big, nice tomato at the top and some down there. It's gonna be good. It's gonna have big tomatoes. There's another nice looking cabbage. I'm gonna have too many cabbages. And another single, just like ideal looking row of sweet onion or not sweet onions, white onions. Oh, come on, let's rain. I think I see more rain coming. Let's pour. We need to see the water's coming down the driveway. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Round two. And these white onions look ideal. And this single row, the best. Well, I don't know. These down here are starting to look, they're looking very these were planted on the same day and the rows kind of line up together through the fence. So, and oh, I forgot the, I'll get those later. Um, okay. Listen to the rain. So lots of white onions. We have a lot of good white onions. Next here is my climbing bean that doesn't. Uh, it came from seed that was like it's supposed to be a. I think it's supposed to be a bush bean because I used some of that same seed to kind of fill in because the population was kind of low, and most of them aren't climbing. They're starting to put some climbers out, but they have really put a good number of beans out. The shorter, and now the ones that originally planted in the spring, they're climbing good. They're all over the fence, and I'm gonna have to pick them in a day or two. So an interesting bean situation. Got short ones and tall or climbers and non-climbers. And here we got peas, and I was gonna pick some. Yeah, those are ready to go. Those are ready to pick, and I like to pick some the rest I like to pick what's ready here, shell them, and put them in hot pot today. This rain is gonna delay that. S And I've had, there's a few of these plants that died for whatever reason. I had peas in South Dakota. There'll be a random plant dying, but there's just getting a little too random. It's like 5 or 6 plants have died in this row, and I don't want any more to die. They're still blooming good, and they're taller than bean or peas I've ever grown, and I think next year, I'm gonna put them along a fence and train them on the fence, and, okay. I see these people with their pea videos in the South, and, they have climbers for them, and I didn't have in South Dakota, they only grow probably a foot and a half at the most, and they didn't really need to climb it. See, there's ripe ones. There's plenty of, fat pods. So where I'm gonna get some peas. So, when I started this, garden in 2017, uh, peas didn't do all that well. This is still but, like, the jury's a bit out on these peas, but it looks promising for the ones that have lived. But the peas, I was it was barely worth, growing them. You kinda got the peas that you put in the ground, and it was a little disappointing, and I'm encouraged by this. I bought some peas seed, the other day. I think it was yeah, it was a couple days ago, and I put them in the freezer for next spring, and it was a kind of a bulk size, still fairly expensive at $7, but probably enough peas to, plant 4 rows if I wanted to do 4 rows or 2 different years, so, my peas situation is promising. Some of these plants just they're blooming, and they have, ripe peas, they have, small the thin pods, and, they may bloom, they've gone through some heat and dry. I try to keep them watered, and, they look good. They look good for the ones that are living. Now next is the lettuce, and it's a lot of it's bolting, and it's bolting like a good 3 weeks ahead of last year, and I'm not gonna have lettuce in 2 or 3 weeks, or, like 2 weeks, they might be done. They may, just it gets bitter, it goes to seed, but I had a good lettuce year anyway. It started early, and it's gonna end early this year, and but by the time the lettuce is done, there's gonna be corn to eat, and there's gonna be, uh, lots of things. There'll be cabbage, there'll be more potatoes. I still got potatoes from, last year. You were and I'm getting the driveway water into I opened this spot up yesterday, and the water ran down there towards the volunteer, pile, those potatoes and, the potato and the tomatoes. It ran clear down there. I'm gonna let it run down there again. I haven't had much, chance to irrigate this, spring because it hasn't rained. It would rain at night, like 3 in the morning. You can't come out here 3 in the morning and, adjust rows or anything, and, uh, I'm gonna water that. There ain't a lot of things up here. See, I can tell this carrot row got washed down pretty good the other day. I can see some debris, so maybe it ran clear to the end, so the carrots got a good watering. The sweet onions don't need any more because 'cause they're gonna be harvested. The corn I've already watered the other day, rainwater. It got all the way to the end, so and I mean, other than this, this white onion row, the p well, the peas probably could use a good watering, but we'll just it's supposed to rain all week. It's gonna get its chance, I hope. I think another heavier shot of rain's coming. Uh, but I can't really water on this side because of these rags that I got around the lettuce. Now put the rags around the lettuce, keeps the weeds down, and it keeps the soil and twigs and stuff splashing up on the lettuce, and it works really well. And it gets a knee pad service to crawl up through here and harvest it. It's not so rough on the knees, crawling up and clipping. So it works. Several different things work. And I could take the lettuce, I cut it and put it in a tub, put it in the fridge and just get it out. And there may be a few things like a weed or something or a stick, maybe, uh, just very few things. You don't have to wash it. I hate washing lettuce. It's a pain. You just take it out and you put it and you make a salad. You, you put your hams and meats, sausage, and speaking of onions, these sweet onions are gonna be in some salads too. So, all right, 72 minutes. Getting close to finishing. I forgot the turkey craws. Oh, it could rain more than this. We probably got a good 1,200s or something. Okay. All right. Here's my d fill bucket from the creek, and I got a string on it, and I just, throw it out and hold onto the string, and the bucket, the weight the heavier weight's on the front edge, so that bucket will dip and fill with, some water and sometimes mud too, and I'll have something to bring up here to, um, water gardens. So, sometimes I would out of the creek, I'd get 60 gallons of water in the morning and water, a fourth of the garden or something like that, and here's my drag bucket, and when I knew the rain was coming, or at least the forecast, I said, "I'm gonna put this bucket here," and that's some sort of irony, it got filled up naturally instead of me going down there and hauling